Fan.
Be nice to have a double elimination Thursday night in the Twin Cities. We are at the Minnesota Wild morning skate as the players assemble on the ice at Tria Rink. Jonny Athletic, John Krasinski, best in the biz. He'll be at Target Center tonight for the Game 6 festivities between the Wolves and the Nuggets, and he's nice enough to join us now. John, I want to get something out of the way first. I got dragged into this social media radio war with the Denver media yesterday somehow. Your Vikings announcer caught a stray, and this is like it's basketball oriented. What? T-Wolves related. Is this good fun or real animosity that's taking place?
Yeah, it's been hard for me to figure it out, PA. I think it started as a little bit of animosity, and then thankfully we have wonderful fans here in Minnesota, and I think a lot of people sort of came to the defense of the good guys, and I think backed those guys into a corner. And then they all of a sudden started making it sound like, oh, we're just having fun. What's the big deal? Kind of a thing. And so I've tried to, not get involved in it because I just think that they're looking for relevancy when they have none. And
good point.
And that's their cheapest way to go get it. So it's been a little bit weird for a lot of the week, but we're trying to stay above the fray here.
Yeah, so. It's a social media thing. It's an X thing, so it's narrowcasting compared to broadcasting. But I had no idea the origin of it, and then I started following. Then I saw some things Dane Moore said, some things they said about him, and I'm like, all right, well, Dane's my guy, so I'm supporting him no matter what the context is here. Okay, how do they beat the Nuggets tonight?
Well, a little bit of late-breaking news, PA, that is very concerning. Ayo Dosunmu was added to the injury report with a calf injury. He's questionable for tonight all of a sudden. And he has had the calf has bothered him a little bit lately, so very, very concerning if they don't have him. Either way, they just need to be more athletic than the Nuggets. They need to use their physical advantage against Denver, wear them down defensively, and then get out and run offensively. And that is the ticket. They are much more athletic. They are in better shape than the Nuggets. And so they have to turn this into a physical endurance test, and that's the way that they win.
Terrence Shannon Jr., I would assume, is going to get a fair amount of minutes tonight. Is that accurate?
Yes, I think it is accurate. Almost by default. But yes. Chris Finch very concerned about Terrence Shannon Jr.'s adherence to the defensive game plan.
Yep.
But I just do think he brings way too much juice offensively to not give a shot to, especially if Ayo is limited. So I think we can and will see Terrence Shannon tonight, and I think there's a real high potential for him to have a big night, maybe 15, 20 points, and really kind of impose his will on a Denver defense that really doesn't have a guy who can guard him.
Yeah, and the part B is after, reading all of Johnny's stories at The Athletic, theathletic.com, or following him via Twitter, I saw and read the in-depth quote Chris had about the two-way nature that's required for Terrence Shannon Jr. Now, that's before I and everybody knew. We knew about Bones popping up on that thing, but now it's Ayo Dosunmu, and of course we know that Dante and Edwards are not playing, but yeah, I mean, and Terrence was a -7 in his first shift in the last game. Okay, so you get it more than most, if not all of us. I get it a little bit too. I don't care. I mean, if Dosunmu is questionable to out tonight, that changes so much from, of course you care about playing defense and you want things to be strong from a structure standpoint, but you then would have so much against you. It's kind of like, all right, we got to throw the ball out there and do what you can do to your strengths. And his strength is offense, which means I try to let him get 20, 25.
Yeah, I agree with you, PA. And some Wolves fans have gotten sideways with Chris Finch about some of those comments that he made yesterday. I just don't understand it, to be honest with you, because this is a young guy in this league that's trying to find his way. And what Chris Finch is doing is holding him to a high standard. Look, like, if you want to play on a team that wants to go deep in the playoffs, we expect you to play defense and to adhere to the game plan and be fundamentally sound that way. And so I have no problem with Chris Finch holding him to a high standard and challenging him. But yeah, like, once it gets to this point where if Dosunmu is compromised, you have Bones out, you have Dante out, you have Ant out, then it's time to, you have nothing to lose now. No one is almost expecting you to win because the Nuggets were favored going into this series, and then, you have all of these injuries. So just throw caution to the wind.
Yes. Throw
everything you have out there. Maybe Shannon Jr. as a young role player gets a lot of wind in his sails from what I'm sure is going to be an electric Target Center crowd tonight. And maybe he just goes out of body and has an unbelievable game, and that's how you win it. And if you do, man, that's a legendary victory. You are playing with house money right now. Don't play tight. Just let it all fly and see what happens.
John Krasinski, The Athletic, theathletic.com. Ayo Dosunmu has come up questionable for tonight with a calf. And when they're late breaking like that, specifically day of, it generally is ominous. With Julius Randle, what does your trained eye see with Julius, and what does he need to provide tonight?
Yeah, so he has been up and down in this series. One thing I love about what Julius has done is he has done a lot of little things that have really helped in terms of grabbing rebounds, making plays, finding others for open shots. And what we haven't seen yet is a real efficiency in his scoring and his shot making. And so if ever there was going to be a time where he was going to have a throwback All-NBA Julius Randle big scoring night, 30-point night, tonight would be a wonderful time to do it. Aaron Gordon is questionable, but if he doesn't play, or even if he does, he will be a little slow, I think, as well. And so Randle attacking that Denver front court and really kind of being the guy would be very, very helpful for this squad. He is doing a lot of things right. What he has typically got into trouble with in this series is almost trying to do too much, and then the turnovers come. He dribbles into traffic and gets it stripped away, and that's going the other way for easy buckets. So he's got to play under control, got to play clean, but he has the ability to put up a big scoring night and to hang 30 or 35 on a team. And if he can get his shot going and get into a real rhythm, that would be really beneficial for the Wolves.
Hey, Johnny, how does Rudy Gobert reassert himself into this series and be the impact player that we saw in the previous?
Yeah, I think it's going to have to be a little higher energy from Gobert in Game 6. In Game 5, it just looked like he didn't have the same juice that he did in the previous 4 games. And look, he has been battling the best offensive player of this generation to an unbelievable level in the first 4 games. And you expected Jokic to have a big game sooner or later, and he did have that in Game 5. But I think that getting 2 days off to rest his body, to recharge, should give him some more kind of oomph, some more juice. And he's going to have to throw everything he has at Jokic. And reminder to Wolves fans, like, you can throw everything you have at that guy and he can still put up a triple-double with 25, 15, and 10. That's just how good he is. But they have to really make him work and involve him in actions on the defensive end so that he gets tired in the fourth quarter. That's the key to this matchup. Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic have gotten tired late in games, and the Wolves have more energy, and Rudy has a lot to do with that. So he has to lean on Jokic, be physical with him, move him off of his spots, and just hope to wear him down as the game gets into the fourth quarter.
When on the offensive side, continuing on with Rudy for a moment, when Rudy's really impactful in a game offensively, is that a product of him creating for himself, or is that his guys finding him in good spots?
Yeah, it's definitely more of the latter, Nordo. I mean, we saw a couple of times earlier in this series where he took a player off the dribble and got to the basket and scored. That is not a sustainable recipe for success for Rudy Gobert on offense. I think really today, especially with Ant out, like having Ant in that pick and roll with Rudy is really beneficial for Rudy because you have to put so much attention on Edwards that it really does open things up more for Rudy. Without Edwards there, and if Io is not there, I don't think those opportunities are going to be available for him. And so I really think any offensive impact he makes are going to be two ways. One, setting really great screens to open up guys on the perimeter, and two, offensive rebounding, just attacking the glass, getting second chances, putbacks, or offensive rebound kick out for three, those kinds of things. That's what's going to have to be Rudy Gobert's bread and butter for this game, to try and be somewhat impactful on the offensive end in addition to what he has to do defensively.
Are you using Alec tonight to transcribe Jalen Clark quotes for The Athletic?
The invitation has been extended. I think, barring your Purple Squad hiring a GM today, I think we will have Alec there tonight. So we're going to throw everything we've got at this series and try and come out on the other end of it.
Last one. Over/under on Spencer Jones points tonight. I'm going to say 9.5. Which way you going?
Yeah, I would hope for under, PA. Usually role players shoot it well at home, and on the road they have a harder time. I mean, that's to me the key. The key to Game 5. Jokic played well. Murray was okay, but it really was Spencer Jones and Cam Johnson scoring 38 points.
Yep.
And I think if the Wolves can keep those role players down, that is going to be the pathway to a win here tonight. Jokic can score 30. That's all right. It's just you cannot have Hardaway, Jones, or Johnson really go off, or Brown, and you got to limit those guys, and then they'll be in business. But if they hit open shots tonight and knock those down, the Wolves are in real trouble.
Enjoy tonight. Thanks for the time, and have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Okay, Johnny?
All right, thanks, PA.
See you, bud. John Krasinski, The Athletic, theathletic.com. That was our Steve's Appliances Marathon segment. Steve's Appliances, stevesappliances.com. Big fans of the Minnesota Wild. And we have a customer appreciation event taking place right now with a lot of money to be saved.
Oh, sweet.
And free delivery, free recycling, and guaranteed low prices from our buddies at Steve's in Mounds View. So put them to their word with the customer service. Make that the customer appreciation event, and start at stevesappliances.com. All right. Hynes, coach of the Minnesota Wild, joins about 20 minutes from now. When we arranged Vox in the Box at Tria Rink, we knew there would be an early skate for a 6:30 game that took place, but we also were told it's a game day skate, so there could be 6-7 guys out there or whatever. Au contraire, the assumption is that like on a big day with a big game, some of your biggest, best players going to take the morning off, go to the meetings, do things like that, maybe skip the skate. Matt Boldy was the first one out, out of uniform, but he was working on tip drills in front of the net. So
he kind of has a cool bit, by the way, on the ice doing that.
Oh, catching the puck?
Well, yeah. So he comes out
and he throws it up high.
He's basically in shoes, and he walks. I'm terrified to go out on the ice with shoes. He just strolls on out there, fires about 50 pucks top shelf. The tip drill bit, catching the puck. I mean, the skill that these guys have as a Rube that topped out at elementary school floor hockey never fails to amaze me.
Well, the point being here is that there are markedly more players during the morning skate than we were told there could be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we probably had about 12, 13 tops. But Zuccarello, Eriksson Ek, and Kaprizov were putting a lot of time into 2-on-1 breaks. And the way they were crafting it between the red and the blue line in the offensive zone was somebody would dart at Kaprizov, and then he would have to make a move to get by that guy. Then somebody else would dart at Eriksson Ek, and he'd have to make the pass at the right time, and it would be a one-timer for 97. Really, really fun to watch. Zuccarello's out here. He's still out here, about ready to take off. That doesn't surprise me, actually, given he missed about a week or 3 games and just came back. So, obviously, no worse for the wear. But Marcus Foligno joined us about 30 minutes ago. That chat was fun, man. This is going to be terrific tonight here, 6:30 in St. Paul Grand Casino Arena, Target Center. Finchy, about 8:40, 8:45. Finchy might not have Ayo Dosunmu with a calf. Popped up on the injury report this morning. Ayo, what's happening?
The pick and roll goes from Ant to Ayo. I suppose that's Conley's bid tonight then, huh?
Yep, come on, Mike. Mike knows how to play the game. Let's go.
No, he does. I saw it a lot in the text line. Saw it actually any time throughout the season, the last 2 years, from Rube Nation has been kind of the refrain of, see, got to play the young guys more during the regular season. See, got to get them more reps so they're ready for XYZ spots. I've seen that all season, and then of course as we've sustained significant injuries. I mean, Bones already on the report to add Ayo to the mix.
Yep.
I'm really glad that with Jonny that you did do you had the focus you did with Terrence Shannon Jr. because it can't just be 3 minutes, 3 points, 3 boards, 3 assists, and 2 fouls.
Yeah.
Rolling ball of butcher knives, as you framed it up before.
Yeah.
He has to have.
I don't care about his defense.
No.
That's pretty much what I was laying out. I don't care about it.
Yeah, to close out the series.
Do the best you can, bud.
In some ways, especially if Ayo can't go, but really regardless.
That's what I'm saying.
With ball movement and everything, we kind of got to have. Hey guys, remember Game 6 of that series with the Nuggets, the Terrence Shannon Jr. game?
Yeah, right.
It might have to be something like that tonight. And you were talking earlier, we were both kind of thinking for the Wolves to win this, it may have to be of the underwhelming variety points-wise.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean we don't need everything. We need that night, what was it, Orlando or something, where he put up 28 or 30, Terrence Shannon Jr. did back end of the regular season there. It's got to be maybe that type of game. It's just got to be out-of-body experience. We saw from Ayo to get that game previously, and we need something from Terrence Shannon Jr. tonight. That'd be fun.
We pause. Head coach of the Minnesota Wild, John Hynes, joins 15-20 minutes from now. Here is beloved Double B with the cash thing.
The cash thing, the fan, and BigDeck.com. I'm going to give you a shot to win bonus bucks, the national cash contest at KFAN.com. The keyword is coined. The keyword coin, KFAN.com. Keyword coin.
No app.
Bonus Bucks is back on KFAN. We have 9 chances for you to win $1,000 every weekday. It's every hour from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. To enter keywords and learn more, head to KFAN.com. Bonus Bucks is presented by BigDeck.com.
Welcome back. We're at TRIA, 9 to noon, and it is time for News du Nord. Members of the Minnesota Wild finishing up what appears to be, as PA was talking about last segment, appears to be an optional on day of game. Ahead of us, the opportunity to clinch and move on in the playoffs in Game 6. Same for the Wolves, 8:30, 8:40-ish tip-off at Target Center. How cool would that be? Both the local squads moving on, although the news from Jonny Krasinski that Ayo Dosunmu has been added to the injury report, now questionable into tonight's game. A calf that had been bothering him off and on, but fighting through it, and now he's questionable, and he's added to the report the day of. But we're going to keep following that as game time approaches. News du Nord's brought to you by The Casino at Canterbury Park, CanterburyPark.com. And it's poker, blackjack, and table games all year round, having sips at chips and over-tipping Derek Allen. Live racing will kick off in earnest Memorial Day weekend, May 23rd. But Derby Day, it's going to be a party at Canterbury this weekend, and you can learn more. They're already doing advanced wagering, not just the Derby on Saturday, but I believe the Kentucky Oaks is going to be mañana, tomorrow evening in prime time, so you can catch up with that. Do your watching and wagering at Canterbury. CanterburyPark.com. Twins lose 5-3 yesterday. Taj Bradley, mostly awesome, goes 7 Ks in 7 innings. Does give up an early home run, but bullpen didn't help out, and Twins lose 5-3. They're hosting Toronto today. Bailey Ober is on the mound. Brett Blakemore back at the St. Louis Park Station Studios. How much of these other series have you been watching in the NHL playoffs?
I'm loosely keeping tabs on them. Once the Avs swept, then I kind of lost interest because that's how we knew what was going to happen. But the Edmonton one's interesting, but I'm loosely following this final scores and the updates, but not watching stride for stride.
Well, it's just, the Vegas Golden Knights and Mammoth. The Mammoth have been so impressive to me with Cooley and Keller. And just Vegas kind of acting maybe as my own mental boogeyman in some ways, just how they've handled us over the course of time. Although in recent stages, it was always Wild can't win games against the juggernauts in the division. Now in this particular season, that has changed and flipped really the last year and a half. But you lose to them in the playoffs last year, et cetera. You know all that. But these overtime games have been unfreaking believable, and I spent like 2 real-time minutes yesterday pumping the tires of these Mammoth and just thinking, wow, these kids, the fresh Mammoth are going to find their way by the 702. Well, of course they give up a shorthanded goal in double overtime last night, and now they're down 3-2 in the series. But whether, we're so focused in on Wild and Dallas, and you mentioned the other one that's fascinating to me. You're always impressed and enamored with Edmonton. Of course, the 2 names you immediately bring up when you talk about Edmonton would be McDavid and Draisaitl, and they get their way by the Ducks the other night. But the way that Anaheim kind of limped their way into the playoffs and now really took control of that series, and the Mammoth kind of showing a spark, but now finding their way down 3-2 to Dallas. I mean, if we win tonight, if the Wild win tonight, they're on to Denver. But you get through that, and I got to tell you, I mean, we're looking let's just win tonight is really the A topic, of course. But, man, just some grinder teams making up the rest of the West. Like a potential dream-weaving scenario later in the postseason. Let's just say I like the chances of whoever moves on in the next series that starts in Denver, if you know what I mean.
Completely agree. Yeah, the headline is, of course, Brodin being officially out. Just win today, and we'll get back to me for the second, series. But,
that stinks.
I know. That's still day-to-day, which is good. But historically, it's actually reversed as far as the Vegas-Utah, where historically, the Wild really struggle in Vegas. And historically, especially when they were in Arizona, the Wild crushed the then Arizona Coyotes. This season, though, is completely flipped, where Utah was kind of a team that the Wild struggled with for the most part, and they swept Vegas in the regular season. So I like their chances against anybody if you can get past Colorado. But that is much easier said than done.
Hasn't Vegas's issue been the goaltending this year? And again, I'm not watching every Vegas Golden Knights game. I know you're not, and we're not listening to PA announcer Bruce Cusick. I don't know if Big D's still the hype man at T-Mobile Arena. I have no idea. But it just feels like, as a team that's historically had terrific netminders between the pipes, that's been a part of the story for Vegas having struggles, and maybe that leads to, in the 702, a lot of people finding their way to the overwhelming side of these games.
It's definitely a factor. The defense is definitely a factor as well. They've got plenty of offensive weapons. They find a way to make a big signing, it seems like, every year and somehow stay under the cap, but maybe they're paying the price on the back end of things. It just feels like the magic isn't there. They had some sort of je ne sais quoi to them, that little X factor to them, where it just seemed like they could get out of anything and had this little elixir going, and it just seems like that's kind of run out.
I get you there, and thank you for answering my dumb questions on the Vegas Golden Knights, the Mammoth, Western Conference side of the NHL playoffs. NBA side, Wemby and company still waiting to figure out who's coming to San Antonio. Will it be the Minnesota Timberwolves? Well, they just need to win one of the next 2. Who's going to step up? That was the conversation with Jonny Athletic. If we were doing the post game, I'd say check out and podcast that segment with Jonny. Terrific work as always from him. And you heard it from Brett there. I believe John Hynes, because he's going to join us next, which will be streamable via our YouTube channel, KFAN YouTube channel. He must have just finished up or is still on the verge of chatting with the assembled media, as you heard that the news that Jonas Brodin will be officially out tonight in Game 6. And, Brett, one more thing. I was talking with Tenna B about it yesterday. There was an interesting moment where Middleton goes to the box. We've already got we've got Middleton in the box. Brodin's out with the foot injury. We don't know exactly what it is at the time, but I mean, this Iron Man Faber and killing these penalties where you're really just cycling. I think it was Spurgeon and Bogosian, the only other 2 D-men that were coming out for those kills. You needed every bit of Faber in that game, and you got all of it, didn't you?
I think Faber is he is very much appreciated. I'm not saying he's not, but he is still the most underappreciated member of this Minnesota Wild team. He does everything. He does power plays. He kills penalties. He's out there 5-on-5 with the top unit creating offense. He scored a couple huge goals in this series. I think the fact he is future C, in my opinion, he is unbelievable. He does so many things well.
I dig that. That's News to Nord, brought to you by Canterbury, the casino at Canterbury Park, I should say. And when we return, we're expecting John Hynes, head coach, Minnesota Wild, joins PA, both airable here on the Fan, your home for Wild hockey, and streamable, KFAN's YouTube channel. That's next on the Fan.
Here is Minnesota Wild head coach John Hynes, 10:43. Welcome back. You had a media briefing at 10:15. Then you meet with the broadcasters, and now to close your media responsibility up to the game, 9 to noon. So did you save the best for last, or was it like, Aaron, enough, please? You're about ready to go home and relax.
Try to give everyone the best.
Right.
Everyone the best, BA.
But getting some rest today. I mean, it's like how does... how do I phrase this? Your mind is going to be on the game, the details, and everything tonight, every second, probably every second today. But, I mean, it's not a bad thing to, catch your breath for a second, rest. Like how do you treat now or when you're done here up to the game?
Yeah, you know what? I get in early in the morning, and I think that's time where you kind of get focused for the day, for the team, with the coaches, what you're going to present. So that's a lot of work, and then now it kind of winds down here. You have your team meetings, meet with some players, do your media, and then you get a couple hours off in the afternoon, and then come back to the game and execute the next stand.
You know, it's working with a pro sports team or doing this radio show as long as I have. I've heard coaches say next game mentality, one game mentality 1,000 times. And I understand why that's the preach. It has to be the preach. And as I said to Marcus Foligno an hour ago, cliches are cliches because they stand the test of time and generally are accurate. But your team, I can't remember a team being dialed in to next game mentality as well as your team is right now. And, I saw your press conference and you were talking about it. Middleton, after the game with Gorgie, fielded one question from Game 5, then it immediately went to, but we're on to this. Same from the room, the locker room, with the little 2.5-minute interviews. Answer the question, on to this. So the way you have them dialed into what's most important right now is so impressive to see. But why is the next game mentality so important?
Well, I think we try to have that in the regular season, where the game that's played is done. You can enjoy it for a little while, but the reality is, and what we preach to the guys is, that game is going to do us no good unless we're preparing for the next one. Right. The result is good. What it can do is extract information from it that can help us get better. Either way, things we need to work on, or things we want to reinforce. But in the playoffs, it's the next one. Game 5 was done; it was in the books. We got the result we wanted, but if we sit in that game, that's not going to do us any good to make sure that we're ready for Game 6. Right,
and you're obviously not scripting what people say after wins and losses, but the mentality clearly has been set. So it's when you have it dialed in like that to the attention to detail, that's great. But for instance, when you break down Game 5, okay, and you obviously break down everything involving it into the next game, do you start to see, even in Game 5, hey, we started to see this with this guy in Game 2, and now it's really popped up, so let's attack it, without obviously sharing scheme?
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what happens. You go through and, there's some things that do stay the same, and you either are good at it, or you got to be a little bit better at exploiting it or defending it. And then the same thing, as you said, you see a little bit of trends of whether it's player usage or things that they're doing. So that's why I say when you extract the information, it's you got to be dialed in on that. And if you're focused on what just happened, you're not dialed in on what you need to be to make sure that you're getting ready for the next one.
Yeah, and just to land the plane here, what I'm getting at is, like, nobody goes out of body with what they're saying after wins and losses. So, like, yeah, there are players frustrated with Jamie Benn, and maybe somebody would want to go out of body and be like, you know what, I've been holding this in me for X amount of days, I'm just going to let it fly, which probably wouldn't fly with you and others on the team. For instance, like, you know, say you had somebody after game number 5, you just go out of body and, like, guarantee a win tonight and start talking about Colorado. I mean,
yeah.
Like, how would you handle that?
That wouldn't be good. That wouldn't be good. But you know what? We talk about that.
That's great.
And things like that. So it's hopefully, you know, sometimes there is a slip up, but, you know, I think our guys are.
I'm just impressed,
focused,
man. Yeah, I've just heard it so long. It's just as dialed in as I've ever heard it in my life. John Hynes, coach of the Minnesota Wild. A few quickies to close here. Speaking of past performances, these are the past performances for the Kentucky Derby this weekend. And here's the purpose of this. Top 3 Hynes horses in Saturday's Kentucky Derby. Top 3 Hynes horses in the Kentucky Derby, and here's what I've crafted. So if I were to pick top 3 involving tonight, here's who they would be and why. Number 1, the first one would be number 6, Commandment. There's a horse in the race named Commandment. So for tonight, Thou Shalt Not Lose. We'll start with Commandment. Then number 8, So Happy. Because if you win tonight, you'd be so happy, correct?
Yeah.
And then you get to number 5, Right to Party.
Oh, there you go.
So
that's impressive.
If Thou Shalt Not Lose tonight, and the coach and the team are so happy, yes, you've earned the right to party. But you know what? It's next game mentality. You got to start thinking.
That's it. You got
right.
it.
That's
See,
what it would be.
You're on board now.
Yes, I am. You guys are moving me with all this stuff. All right, a couple of quickies to close here. Is Zuccarello like the team's security blanket with this individual team against this individual Stars team? It just looked different. Just things look different when he plays.
Yeah, you know what? I think Zuki's. He's a very good player, great mindset. His personality is a big factor. He's a very confident guy, works hard, plays a big role in the team, and it's always nice when he's in there.
How would you describe Wallstedt's demeanor and personality?
I would say he's focused and confident.
Lastly, with the Stars, do you expect them in any way to play more cautiously tonight? And here's what I mean. Avoiding the box, okay, has been talked about a lot with you guys avoiding the box. Yeah, the 5-on-5, we got all the numbers on that. But, I mean, in an elimination-type night, I just don't think it pays to play the way they played at certain times and put their guys in the box. Know what I mean?
Yeah. To me, it's... I'm coaching the Wild, so to me it's more, to be very honest, is just trying to make sure that our guys are
right.
We got our game plan, our mindset, make sure that we're dialed in, and then I think as the game unfolds, as it always does, I think you have to respond to different situations that are going on.
All right, your team. Hartman scores tonight. I'm feeling it. You feeling it?
I'm feeling it.
Let's go.
All right.
Thank you, bud.
See you, buddy.
John Hynes, coach of the Minnesota Wild, nice enough to join us. Game day as the Wild and Stars take off tonight at about 6:30 at Grand Casino Arena. And that's about the quickest I've ever seen John Hynes exit not only 9 to noon, but he went from, he's like, all right, Sicky, what do I got? Aaron Sickman. Sicky, what do I got? Well, 10:15 media. So we saw Wobble here. We saw Doogie here. We saw Dame Mizutani. So, I mean, the media focus of this whole thing is obviously very thick. Then what do I got after that? The broadcasters. Well, that would be Wild radio and TV, and then maybe national TV or maybe even Dallas radio. All right, what do I got after that? That's it, right, Sicky? No, you got 9 to noon with God's cartoon character. Okay. So that was one of the shorter interviews we've ever had with Heinze, and we respect people's time, and we also were not, hey, I looked in his eyes and I could tell this was happening. I could just tell that the man is ready to leave the rink. He's ready to go home, chill and do whatever he does, get back to the rink super early for a 6:30 game, and then put Heinze and Horsies together. Heinze's Horsies. Number 6 commandment. Why? Because tonight, thou shalt not lose. Then 8, so happy. We want everybody to be happy after a Wild victory tonight. Then 5, right to party. Right to party after a game and advancing to the Colorado Avalanche. That'd be sweet.
It would be sweet. I think just how this has gone. A year ago, you're up 2-1 in the series. You find your way losing in 6. And then just kind of think about the flow of that series and how this thing has gone. You find you dominated them. Their own fans crying their own team off the ice game 1 in Dallas. And then it felt like you were completely on tilt, man. And I just can't remember a series, and maybe this happens every year, where it's so polarizing. If Dallas gets on the power play a bunch tonight, they're probably going to win this game. But on the other end of it, So and it's not just, hey, the Wild defend well. I think it's certainly that's a massive factor, 5v5.
Yeah.
Dallas looks like they just don't even want a part of it sometimes. There's a listless nature to extended periods of these games with the Stars where it's even strength. And they're just having trouble, and thus far really not just having trouble, haven't been able to find an answer to that. So as I was sitting there watching, and probably via the YouTube channel, poorly attempting to film the conversation with the head coach, like I'm looking.
That's what you were doing?
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Okay, I'm like, are you recording this for Ava, Stella, and Hannah when she can figure out what hockey is? To be like, hey, here's where Daddy goes during the day, and look, this is the coach of this team that you're going to see on TV tonight. Which, I used to do stuff like that all the time with my kids when they were super young.
Yeah.
Okay, so what were we doing there?
Well,
YouTube Live?
Yeah, I got a video of the Zamboni that I'm going to show the kids later. No, I was filming. I did that with Moose, and then I did that with the head coach.
Sweet.
Poorly, but while I was looking through the lens.
So that's why you had the lights, the Chiron, the green screen, and we've taken Billy G's perch and turned it into a set.
That is correct. And the makeup person, sorry, couldn't attend on time. But other than that, we were all ready to rock. I'm looking at the coach, man, like, he just wants this thing to be over.
Yes, I want to go home.
I want to go home.
The announcer figured that out about 90 seconds into the interview.
Yeah, and it's not about the interview. It's about this freaking series.
Yep, I get it.
He would never admit it, but it's like, okay, we don't get over the hump tonight. And this team has had just some wonky games over the last couple of years in front of our favorite fans.
Pressure is an interesting beast.
And so I think he's buttoned up. I think he's ready to rock. But man, he does not want to go to Dallas on Saturday. He wants the commandment, the right to party. He wants to run that through.
Thou shalt. If I'm calling the Kentucky Derby and commandment pulls away and he's going to win easily, at the wire, it's commandment or something tying into thou shalt not lose.
No, it's brilliant. And it's Colmus on the call on Saturday, won't it be?
Yep.
Yeah, and he handles it well, too. We'll see what he does.
Sir.
But I think he wants to be chilled out, right to party, and then
he was so intense,
and he wants to get after Sicky, chew on him a little bit to find out when the flight is to Denver.
Yeah.
So just be done with these freaking Stars. No more questions about Jamie Benn. We get it. He's an agitator, long ass career.
Doesn't want to fight Moose.
No, he does not.
Moose asked him to go a couple of times. We all know he doesn't want to fight.
Turned him down
if there's ProHockeyTalk.com led by Florio. That story right there blows up. If there's ProHockeyTalk.com led by Florio, who pulls clips and has a staff and everything, Moose saying, like, and maybe he said this publicly before, but he's like, I've tried to get him to go twice. We all know Jamie Benn won't fight.
Yeah.
That's the bomb.
Well, and that's why Abbott assisted in promoting the idea of recording those and streaming those on the YouTube channel.
That's sweet. So it was live on YouTube?
Yeah, I think.
Wow. So I might be laying in bed after a Wild and Wolves victory tonight, flipping through my YouTube shorts, and since I follow KFAN 103. I might see Box in the Box as a short.
Yeah, you might see it.
That'd be unbelievably cool.
I think it's going to be at a slight, half-cocked 10-degree angle because I'm a horrible cameraman.
Oh, big deal.
But yes, good. I believe that'll be available via KFAN's YouTube channel. I'm so pumped for this freaking game tonight.
Yeah, me too.
For different reasons than the coach. I want to move on to Denver too.
Yeah.
But soaking in this thing, the ability to clinch on home ice tonight, and after that 2-game stretch, really, from overtime of Game 4, where Matt Boldy said, dudes, I scored a pretty badass goal in the Olympics. I think I can handle this thing. Effectively a one-man mission in that OT to ice it.
Yeah.
And then what they did now that Zuki's back in Game 5, just whoop that ass tonight. Full Rube mode, man.
Let's not forget about Finchy.
I'm not forgetting about
Let's not forget about Finchy, who's really, really good to us. And we got negative news from Johnny Athletic 45 minutes ago that Ayo Dosunmu is questionable tonight with a calf. And that thing popped up this morning.
This is Coach of the Year stuff. If he finds a way, I mean, obviously there's not an award. They'll win the series and move on.
The best.
But it's Coach of the Year, miraculous, the right strings at the right time.
If Rudy gets in foul trouble early, I mean, I might pull my hair out. Seriously.
How about that second foul on? I mean, Jaden McDaniels. Finch could have gotten ejected for, freaking out over the over that second foul, which put Jaden into trouble and got him off the court last game.
Finchy.
So lack of turnovers, lack of fouls tonight. Yeah, it's not that I've forgotten about Finchy. I'm going to be tuning into that thing.
We're scattered. Great. This is a great day.
But I'm staring at Trio. At Trio.
It's the best.
Staring at the ice.
We watched Kaprizov. So we got Russo Radio soon. So I kind of learned what Kaprizov and Eriksson Ek were doing when we saw them on the morning skate going full speed. Yeah. I mean, Eriksson Ek and specifically Kaprizov, and we weren't even sure Kaprizov would be in the morning skate, because the biggest of the big ever to big, they have a right to chill and then give everything during the course of the game. What Kaprizov was doing with the 2-on-1, he was making moves and doing things that are a very small percentage he'll have to do during the game.
Yeah.
But it's a percentage. So therefore, if I have to twirl, if I stumble and I get my feet, then I get the puck, then the one-timer, I want to be ready for it.
Yeah, he was looking like Balishnikov out there.
My man was executing moves that have a 3% chance they're going to happen tonight, but if that 3% hits, he wants to be ready,
and it's a goal.
That's so fantastic when your best player leads like that. Holy cow! All right, Russo Radio around the corner. Nordo produces on site at Tria Rink. I'm Paul Allen. Brett Blakemore guides the Great Ship Love Covenant, and after Russo Radio, Oliver Moore, new friend of ours, forward for the Chicago Blackhawks. He'll chat hockey with us too. That's about 11:20. Russo Radio next.